Welcome back to Zero's Maverick hunting. I know I'm late to the party on this one, but I wanted to take some time with this game to let it sit and see if my perspective or thoughts had changed. I also wanted to wait until I had all the versions of the game, which I do now own and have completed. I also wanted to try out the different difficulty settings, so there's a lot to talk about in this one. But let's not delay any further, let's get in gear with Mega Man 11. In December 2017, during the Mega Man 30th Anniversary livestream, Mega Man 11 was revealed to the public. The trailer showed off the new art and graphic style, as well as the new dual gear system implemented into the gameplay. I'll admit, when I first saw the trailer, I was excited, but also cautiously optimistic. The art style and dual gear mechanic was reminding me of Mighty No. 9 and its dashing mechanic. Not to mention, this would be the first major series release without Keiji Inafune's involvement. However, the development team at Capcom was headed by Koji Oda, a veteran director at Capcom working on many Resident Evil titles and the newer entries in the Ghosts and Goblins and Strider series. Producing was another Capcom vet, Kazuhiro Toshiya, who worked as a supervisor on Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U, cutscene director of Haunting Ground, and producer of Ashura's Wrath, and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. But most importantly, he was a programmer on my favorite entry in the Mega Man franchise, Mega Man 7. With such impressive talent and the series development being done in-house for the first time in years, it gave me some hope. When the demo dropped in September, we got our first chance to play the game. My first impressions were, dang, this game hard. After much trial and error, I was able to get the feel of it and eventually make it through Blockman's stage. And it is one of the more difficult levels, which kind of makes me wonder why they decided to use this one for the demo. Either way, I started to get the grasp of what the game was going to be, and the dual gear system, which put some of my reservations to rest. Mega Man 11 was released on October 2nd, 2018, with its only major competition being Forza Horizon 4 and Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, also released that day. Unless, of course, you count the other games released later that week, such as Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Super Mario Party. However, the game initially launched for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC at a cost of $39.99. At this price, it became much more competitive, especially during Broketober. I got my collector's edition on the Switch and my standard edition on PS4 on launch day. I didn't get the Xbox One version until much later, where I split the cost with my brother on a bundle that also included both Mega Man and Mega Man X Legacy collections. I also only recently got it on PC when it went on sale, also because my PC is potato when it comes to games. The Amiibo edition for Switch was probably the most sought after, as it included a new special edition 30th Anniversary Mega Man Amiibo. However, this Amiibo has the same functionality as the Smash Bros. Amiibo, so you can use that as a replacement. This collection also comes with collectible stickers, a Dr. Wily adhesive patch, and a Stage Select microfiber cloth. The collector's edition for PS4 and Xbox One includes a booklet on the history of Mega Man, as well as 4 Robot Master lithograph cards. There's also a Japanese exclusive collector's package, which includes a starter guidebook and a poster. Finally, I picked up the Hyperkin Mega Man 11 controller for Xbox One and PC. Other than the D-pad being in a slightly odd position, it worked fine for playing Mega Man, and I love the aesthetic. When you boot up the game, you're treated to an opening cutscene, which goes over some additional backstory on Dr. Light and Dr. Wily back when they were in university. It shows the difference in Light and Wily's ideals for the future of robotics and how they argued over what is the right path. Eventually, the faculty determines that Light's research on robots with independent thoughts is the better option over Wily's prospect of building robots to use the dual gear system to make them stronger. Wily walks away smashing his dual gear system as he wakes up. It was all just a dream. Or was it? Cut to present day, Dr. Light is doing routine checkup on some of the robots when Wily arrives. With great speed, he captures the robots and heads off with them. Dr. Light realizes that Dr. Wily is using the dual gear system and that Mega Man will require to be upgraded with it in order to stand a chance against him this time. However, it comes with a risk where it will put great strain on his circuits. But Mega Man doesn't care, as long as it helps him defeat Wily. With the dual gear system installed, Mega Man heads off. This leads us to the Stage Select screen, where we can get our first taste of the Robot Masters. This means, like the earlier Mega Man games, there is no intro stage. However, there is a tutorial on how the dual gear system works. It's kind of a bummer that there's no intro stage again, but I understand why it's not here. I feel the goal of this game was to appeal to both hardcore fans and those who might only be nostalgic for the older NES Mega Man games, so many of the design decisions seem to be based on that. First and foremost, I want to comment on Mega Man's control. Mega Man has his slide and Mega Buster back, which is a much welcome change compared to Mega Man's 9 and 10, where they were only available to Proto Man. Rush Coil is unlocked from the start, and Rush Jet comes later, and both have their own assigned buttons, which is great, but sometimes I hit them by accident. Mega Man's air control has changed. He no longer drops like a ton of bricks, except when going through boss doors apparently, and it feels like he has much tighter handling than he's ever had. On top of that, his jump is now longer than it's ever been. It's hard to show on screen, but play a little of 11 and go a few rounds with 2 or 4, and you'll feel the difference. The most innovative new feature is the dual gear system. It is broken up into 2 separate functions, the speed gear and the power gear. The speed gear slows time down, making some obstacles much easier to deal with. The power gear increases the strength of Mega Man, which has varying results based on which weapon Mega Man is using. There's also the double gear, a last resort desperation move that is only available when Mega Man's health is low and uses the entire dual gear meter in one go for a superpowered attack. The dual gear system has its own power meter, which is drained as you use the gears and recharges over time, or by collecting gear power-ups. However, should the gear meter get depleted, it will recharge slower and Mega Man will also take double the damage until it's recharged, so you have to choose wisely on when to use it. One of the most obvious changes to the game is the presentation. The graphics are gorgeous. Mega Man finally gets the next-gen treatment he's always deserved, and it looks really good. The game uses a cel-shaded style that's more subdued and looks more modern. It's very crisp and shows off the power of the new hardware. I should know because the PC version looked like this for me, and it looks like this on a much more powerful PC. Yeah, I'm still in a potato. The backgrounds are a mix of 2D and 3D animation, and it looks marvelous. I remember just sometimes stopping to look at the backgrounds and how detailed they were. This truly is a pretty looking game. I know it seems like I'm jumping around here, but it also has to be said that the new art style and graphics do affect gameplay. Being that we're now in HD, and heck, even 4K resolutions, Mega Man looks pretty small on screen. I know he's technically never taken up that much screen real estate in the past, not counting 7 and 8, but comparatively it feels like he's further away from the rest of the screen than he's ever been. That being said, playing the game on the Switch in handheld mode did make this feel better. It really depends on how each person perceives this, but I personally felt the camera could have been a little more zoomed in. Though I do realize the level design was trying to be a more modernized version of the classic games in the series. So maybe the scale was necessary to achieve this? I'm not sure, but that's my theory. In any case, this does not really affect gameplay, just a personal preference of mine. The music has also gotten an overhaul. This time it's been composed using a more modern sound bank, giving it a modern techno-retro style. It's amazing and sounds really great, which was not what I was expecting to be honest. Depending on what version of the game you own, you can also get an instrumental version which is played with more instruments. Once I heard both versions and some 8-bit covers, I really got a sense that the music was a modern version of the classic NES chiptunes, and it's amazing. Not to mention the subtle references to other games in the series, such as the ending theme 1 sounding like a sequel song to the ending theme of Mega Man 2, or the Wily stage select music having a section that sounds like the intro to Mega Man 4's boss theme. The only real criticism I have of the music is, a lot of it sounds kinda samey, but given what the series has produced before, that's not a big deal. Finally, the sound has been updated as well to reflect a more modern gaming framework. Going for the sci-fi future fantasy sounds for lasers, explosions, and everything else sounds great, and punchy when they need to be. The voice acting is fantastic. Finally, we have a Mega Man game where the voice acting isn't terrible. The cast is made up of voice acting veterans such as Todd Haberkorn and Doug Stone. Mega Man himself is voiced by Ben Diskin, who you might know as Casper from Fire Emblem Three Houses or Haida from Agretzko. The Japanese cast is just as fleshed out, with some notable talent being Yuka Iguchi and Nobuo Tobita. No matter which language you listen to, the acting is fantastic and much better fits the game than anything Mega Man 8 ever did. Shut up! The shop returns and works the same as it did in Mega Man 7, 9, and 10. Bolts are again the currency and can be used to buy various consumables such as extra lives, E, W, and M tanks, Eddie and Beat spawns, and new items such as the Super Guard, which reduces damage taken until dying or completing the level, whatever comes first, and the Pierce Protector, which will prevent Mega Man from dying from his first encounter with spikes. Equipable items also make a return in the forms of the Energy Catcher, which makes health power-ups show more often, the Capsule Catcher, which does the same but for weapon energy, the Bolt Catcher, which does the same for bolts, the Power Shield, which reduces the knockback when getting hit, the Shock Absorber, which does the same for the Mega Buster knockback, the Spike Boots, which reduce slipping on slippery surfaces, the Energy Balancer, which uses weapon pickups for the weapon with the most energy used, the Energy Balancer Neo, which does the same but for all weapons, the Auto Charge Chip, which auto charges the Mega Buster, the Buster Plus Chip, which increases the size of the Buster shots, the Energy Dispenser, which sacrifices the size of your health meter for being able to use the double gear immediately, the Cooling System, which charges the dual gear meter faster, the Speed Gear Booster, which allows Mega Man to move at regular speed when using the Speed Gear, the Awakener Chip, which gives Mega Man all weapon energy, and the Mystery Chip, which provides a special bonus after completing a stage in a short amount of time. On top of that, you get the Tank Container and Buddy Call Plus to increase the amount of tanks and Eddie or Beat summons you can hold. There's also a few aesthetic choices made to make the gameplay smoother. First of all, you can exit a stage at any time without needing to buy an item to do so. Thank the Capcom gods for this. I can't tell you how many times I continued a stage when I meant to go back to the stage select or decided mid-level I wasn't feeling the run and that I wanted to reset it without having to use up all my lives. You can also turn off fast weapon switching, which may not seem like a big deal, but my fat fingers have accidentally weapon switched in these games so many times, and honestly I don't use it much because I'm so used to going to the menu and selecting weapons that I want that way. It just gives Mega Man a chance to breathe too, you know? You can also do rematches with the Robot Masters in their stages, you know, if they haven't suffered enough. I know they seem like minor things, but the fact that they were thought of is much appreciated. I see you there, Capcom, not just improving things in Monster Hunter, but Mega Man as well. Now just give us a remake of Legends with revised controls and mechanics and we Gucci. Or give us Legends 3. One of the main things you may notice playing this one is the difficulty. At first, I found the game very difficult, but as time went on, I realized how balanced it is. If you've never played Mega Man, it may seem hard, but that's what the newcomer mode is for. So there's no shame in playing through the game that way. Unless you're Oni, who's a little bit. Newcomer mode gives you unlimited lives, beat rescues, and spike protectors, so it's basically impossible to die instantly. And for those of you who enjoy multiple playthroughs, there is a New Game Plus option that lets you replay the game with all the weapons and power-ups you've acquired. This time the difficulty is less on being nostalgic about poor level design and more about legitimate challenge. Every section feels like it was well thought out with multiple solution paths. Stages like Blockman and Acid Man really test you on how well you can control Mega Man, while other stages like Blast Man and Impact Man require use of the game's mechanics to be more successful. The best example I can give is Wily Stage 1. It is in my opinion the hardest stage in the game, and it's mostly from the brilliant level design with the gear platforms that spin and fall. It really tests how well you know the game, requiring creative uses of the dual gear system and weapons. Speaking of weapons, you've got quite the options to choose from this time. First off, there's the Block Dropper, where Mega Man can summon blocks in the air to fall on enemies. Scramble Thunder shoots electric balls across the ground that can travel around some platforms. It's also useful for lighting certain areas. Chain Blast shoots sticky bombs that can be stacked together for bigger explosions. Acid Barrier has two functions. First, it makes a bubble shield around Mega Man to protect him from some attacks. It also fires acid in an arc. Tundra Storm creates an icy tornado around Mega Man, much like the charged up Storm Tornado from Mega Man X. Blazing Torch shoots a blast of fire that fires in an upside down V formation. Pile Driver turns Mega Man's buster into a sharp nail, and using the weapon causes Mega Man to dash to drive the nail into an enemy to make them explode. It can also be used as an air dash, making it very useful for getting over some obstacles. Finally, the Bounce Ball fires a spread of 3 bouncy balls that bounce off the walls similar to weapons such as the Rebound Striker or Mega Ball. On top of that, the Power Gear can power up all the weapons. Block Dropper drops more blocks, Scramble Thunder makes bigger electric balls, Chain Blast makes larger bombs for a bigger explosion, Acid Barrier becomes stronger and deals damage on contact, Tundra Storm extends to the full screen and freezes the insta-death fire for a short period of time, Blazing Torch fires up to 3 blasts at once for a spread shot, Pile Driver has a longer dash and bigger explosion, and the Bounce Ball fires 3 balls on both sides. The weapons can also affect the environment, such as Bounce Ball destroying certain electrical equipment or the Pile Driver popping balloon enemies. Aesthetically, rather than Mega Man's color changing for each weapon, his helmet and buster also change, which looks awesome. Getting the weapons is difficult enough because just like Mega Man, the Robot Masters also have the dual gear system installed. Blockman grows into a larger form with a second health bar, Blastman gets stronger bombs, Torchman gets a flaming aura like he's using the Kaioken, Impact Man becomes a giant jackhammer, and the rest get faster. In the Wily stage, you'll battle the Yellow Devil once again, and man, I've never liked this boss. I find him to be the hardest in the game, mostly because of the dodging and limited time to attack it. On top of that, he can now split into smaller forms using the speed gear, which also does not give a big window to hit him. Maverick is a giant robot clam similar to Barbos from Donkey Kong Country 3, and uses the power gear to teleport around the room. Finally, you have Wily, whose first form is like a mix of the Pirate Machine from Mega Man 10 and the Hanaga Ned Squared from Mega Man 7. He can also only be hit in one spot, making it annoying as you need to jump on his missiles to reach him, or just use the powered up Chain Blast. I'll save the final form and let you discover it for yourself, but it's annoying, unless you use Chain Blast. Once you're finished with the main game, Mega Man 11 offers tons of challenges and extras, much like the Legacy collections. There's a variety of challenges to choose from, such as your standard time and score attacks, but there's also challenges that require more skill, such as the limited jumps or uses of the Buster, as well as some collection-based too. There's also Dr. Light's Trial, which is a compilation stage of challenges to complete. You can also check the online leaderboards for each mode, records for the in-game achievements, and the gallery, which includes models of all the enemies and bosses and voiceovers for them too. Earlier in this review, I mentioned the amiibo support, and it's kind of minimalistic. Basically, you can use your amiibos once a day to get benefits in-game. This works with nearly any amiibo, not just the Mega Man ones, so if you've got some plastic crack hanging around, might as well use them. That is, if you've opened them like a heathen. Finally, I'd like to go over a few suggestions for future updates or DLC. First and foremost, let's add Proto Man and Bass as playable characters. I love playing as Bass in Mega Man 10 and Rockman in Forte, and would love to see him come back in this game. Proto Man has a lot of opportunities with the dual gear system. As many of you know, Proto Man has a nuclear core, which means his self-destruct sequence is basically an atom bomb. I feel this would be a great opportunity to give him special dual gear abilities with a risk reward. You could make the power and speed gear even stronger than Mega Man's, as well as the dual gear being a full health move like the Hadouken or Shoryuken from the X series rather than a last-ditch desperation move. As for base, I could see the power gear giving him a stronger and faster rapid buster, and with the speed gear letting him dash further or air dash. For the double gear, I'd say you could give him a charged up Mega Laser. Bringing base into the game would also be the perfect opportunity to bring back the Super Adapter, and not just for him but for Mega Man as well. Seriously, why does Capcom keep ignoring this thing? I would have loved to have the S Adapt in this game. It would have made some sections less of a pain in the ass. Because as great as the level design is, there's still some bullshit I don't like about it. All things considered, Mega Man 11 is a fantastic entry in the series and gives it the evolution it's been sorely lacking. The presentation is magnificent and really makes it feel like the series has taken a step into the next generation of gaming. That being said, it's hard for me to decide where it stands in the franchise. It's still too early to say. What I can say is that it is a very deserving entry of the main series, and considering there's already 10 prior main installments, it's honestly surprising how much it innovated the formula. Mega Man 11 is available on all major platforms at this time: Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Sorry 3DS and Vita fans, but this adventure's too big for you guys. Regardless of what platform you play it on, it's pretty well the same. However, I have to recommend the Switch version not just for its portability, but its added functionality such as amiibo support. Before I end off this review, I want to take a moment to look back. It was nearly 10 years ago that I started this series off with a review of Mega Man 7. It was made out of frustration of how others perceived one of my favorites in the franchise. A decade later, and that has pretty much changed with Mega Man 7 being celebrated instead of dismissed. It really motivated me to keep looking at underrated and underappreciated games that I really enjoyed, and some I didn't, but still looked at anyways. As much as things have changed for me, things have also changed for Capcom and Mega Man. We went from being unsure of where the series was going to it being reborn, to the point now that the Mega Man franchise has sold over 35 million units, including Mega Man 11 finally selling over 1 million units. Now that might not seem like a lot, but it's an accomplishment worth celebrating. For all intents and purposes, it feels like Mega Man is back. With the sales of Legacy collections, rumored games, and friggin' Zero ZX collection coming in 2020, I mean, who saw that one coming? Capcom is also making some key plays with its franchises such as Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. Hell, we finally might be getting Okami 3, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's ever watched my reviews. I know they're not always the best. I know sometimes they take a long time to make them, but I really enjoy making these videos and bringing to light some of my favorite games that I've from my childhood or that I've discovered. And trust me, we're not quite done with Mega Man yet. There's still a whole lot of stuff I can talk about from this guy. And I look forward to the new stuff coming in the future from the franchise. In any case, thank you very much for watching for 10 years. Take care, and I'll see you on the next Zero's Maverick hunting. Hey guys, thanks again for watching my final review of the year, and the decade. Special thanks to my script supervisors BruddaKirby and Protodude, who made sure I didn't miss anything. Go check out Kirby's YouTube and Twitch, and Protodude on rockmancorner.com. Quick shout out to my Patreons here on screen. If you'd like to receive early access to videos, behind the scenes extras, and a whole lot more, consider backing me on Patreon. If you enjoyed this review, maybe give it a like and share it around. If you want to stay up to date with my videos, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to get notifications. You can also keep up to date with me on facebook.com/Zeromaster fanpage, follow me on Twitter @Zeromaster, and come see me play games live on twitch.tv/Zeromaster, where I stream 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. To see my last review on Pantsu Hunter, click the link on the left. And if you want to see all my Mega Man reviews, click the link on the right. Thanks again, guys. I hope you have a great holiday and a happy new year. Hey y'all, Scott here. No. Hey guys, this is Austin. No, God.